And welcome back, forest dwellers. As promised, we are doing the Riverfolk Company Rollin' on the River tutorial. Let's see what they are all about. As I understand, these guys are really cool and very different from everything else that we've seen in this game. I think really complex, but I won't presume to understand them yet. So first of all, they're beavers. They live on the river. They're called the Riverfolk Company. They're set up shop on the great river running through the woodland. As the other factions purchase services, the Riverfolk will be able to fund new trade posts across the forest. The construction of these posts is a viable way to score victory points, but so too are the dividends gained from hoarding wealth. So they're all about trading and not so much about fighting. Well, hey there, chum. Let me wash my hands real quick. They smell like clams. Alright. In the meantime, take care of setup for me and place 4 warriors in clearings along the river. Alright. There, and they want us to spread it out a bit. 2 and 2. Probably seems like a good idea. We've got the best services in town. Alright, at the start of their bird song, your opponents may purchase services by taking warriors from their supply, that is from the supply in reserve or whatever, meaning it literally costs nothing. I mean, they can't recruit those warriors while they are in your services, but no, fair noting, it doesn't like cost them anything other than that. And adding them then to your payments area, alright? So keep that in mind. That's down here. Continue. Those payments become the funds that determine the actions you can take on your turn. So their warriors from their supply that they place in our services become our money. During setup, each evening you determine service prices. Let's play hardball and set them all to 3. Okay, that seems expensive, but sure. So let's see if anyone buys into our conglomerate. Outcast is mice. It seems like no one paid anything. Our service prices were so steep we didn't get any buyers. However, each game we start with 3 payments represented by warrior icons. Okay, so we always have 3. Or we have 3 at the beginning anyway. So they were in this bracket here, and now they moved over to the funds area. Alright. During Birdsong, you move all payments to your funds to spend on actions during daylight. You can move, battle, draw cards by committing funds. These funds move to your commitments area over here and won't be available to spend again until your next turn. Commit a fund to battle in the marquee. In your bunny clearing before they recruit more warriors. Alright, so we click here. This is the attack action, I suppose, or battle action. We have 3 funds. Let's see what happens. We move 1 over to commitment. We attack them with our shovels. Or what are they, oars? You ought to know better than to attack the marquee. I guess they're not beavers, they're otters, my bad. Same difference. Alright. Well done. You're more of a fighter than I expected. Thank you. Recruit now in the clearing your battle end to replace the warrior we lost in battle. Recruiting is costly. Funds used to recruit go to your supply rather than your commitments. This means they won't return to your funds on your following turn. That's interesting. Because that means that the other funds will. The one we used to get the battle will go back into the payments next turn to be recycled and reused. Apparently warriors funds don't. Alright, so that's a massive difference, of course. Yeah, that one got removed and it's added to our reserve. Alright. Unlike many other factions, you don't draw at the end of your turn. To draw cards, you must commit a fund to use the draw action. But again, this one goes to the commitment box where it gets returned, so that's fine. We would prefer to get them for free, but whatever. During evening, you may change the prices of your services. Let's hold a sale. Bring down the cost of riverboats down to 1, and your other services down to 2. Continue. Okay. Those baked goods you have on offer look delicious. Thank you. After we just attacked them. So they gave us 2. Interesting. So they bought one of my cards, I think. Which is absolutely a thing that they can do. Your riverboats will be of much use to the cult. Blessings of the Scaled One to you. So they give us a lizard man to use the boats, and then they can sail along the rivers to attack and move, with shortcuts. Very interesting. Alright, so now we have a lot more funds to spend. Our sale was a success. We have a nice variety of funds to use for our actions this turn. Interesting. I wonder if there's a limit. You can spend 2 funds matching the faction of a clearing's ruler to place a trade post token and a warrior there, so long as that clearing doesn't already have a trade post. This again, this is a spending funds, not committing them, so they are removed, but let's see here. So long as that clearing doesn't already have a trade post. Alright, so because we have 2 cats, 2 marquee cats, and this is, they rule this one here, we can spend 2 cats to, boom, get a trade post and a warrior. Alright, this is what a trade post looks like. It doesn't take up a building slot. When you place a trade post, you score 2 victory points. Okay, nice. Trade posts are used to craft, allow you to score dividends, and enable other players to buy more services from you. Interesting, more services. Each trade post you have built also contributes its suit towards crafting cards. So that costs no funds, I think? Yeah, no funds were spent on this. No, that's not true. You must commit a fund for each trade post used during crafting. I see. You have a choice of which faction type to spend. Select either. Sure. Okay, so that's not free either. Everything is about money with these guys. Us Riverfolk are great swimmers. We treat rivers as paths during movement and ignore the ruler restriction when moving through rivers. That's really important, yeah. Normally you need to either rule the clearing that you are going from or the clearing that you are going to, but others don't care if they move along the river. I think that would be the only case where they don't care. Let's move 2 warriors along the river to our trade post to protect it. So from here, again, a move costs funds apparently. We have to commit funds. Nothing is free. We live in a capitalist society. Look at those little boats, I love it. That Marquis workshop is vulnerable. Attack! Man, we're such a backstabbers. Thank you for the help. Now die! Alright, that's not how you get people to trade with you. Jesus. Alright, sure. From trader to traitor, I see. Nice. You will pay for this, river scum. Jesus Christ. Not because we can walk on rivers, but whatever. Let's leave our services cost alone for now. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Ain't that the truth? Sorry, sipping some smoothie here. Each enemy is allowed to buy one service from you a turn. Ah, I see. Plus an additional service for each clearing with a trade post and one of their pieces. I see. So normally they can only do one thing from us, but then they can do more if they have presence where we have trade posts. Oh, look at this. The buyer of your mercenaries must split casualties evenly between their pieces and your hired warriors, with the buyer taking odd hits. Okay, so I feel like they should have explained this a little bit more, but they can buy our warriors to use as mercenaries, is what we're seeing here. Yeah. Must split casualties evenly between their pieces and your hired warriors, with the buyer taking odd hits. Okay, so if we're taking 2 hits on our team here, that means we lose 1 each. If we had lost 3, they would lose 2, we would lose 1. Indeed. Okay. I have questions, but I'll wait a bit. Maybe we can try to answer some of them at the end when we have some free time to play. Each time a trade post is destroyed, we lose half of our funds, rounded up. Oh, big deal. Damn. Let's recruit another warrior to make sure our trade posts are well guarded. Yeah, that seems important. Okay, that's a big deal. We would want to use our own warriors for that most of the time, I think. It seems good to have enemy warriors in your funds for various reasons. First of all, when they are in our funds area, they cannot be recruited by that faction themselves. You can imagine how that might affect especially the birds and the cats. Also the other factions, of course. And so for that reason, it's good to have them in our bank. And we also need other faction units in our bank in order to do trade posts specifically. So, and I see there's, as far as I can tell, there's no real reason why we would need our own units in the funds as a base. Anyway, during our bird song, we score dividends so long as we have a trade post on the map. Dividends score 1 point for every 2 funds we didn't use on our previous turn. Okay, pass the turn to save funds for dividends. Okay, that I think I understand. That happens here. Score dividends as the first thing in the turn. If for every 2 points we didn't spend last turn, like so in this turn here, we will score 1 point. So we would score 2 points if we end our turn right now. That's interesting. Very, very interesting. Because normally you would want to do as much as you can with your actions, but you literally get paid for not taking actions. You got quite the instinct for trade. Go ahead and set services however you would like. Interesting. Hand card. Okay, so let's cover that now. Can we hover over these? No. But basically, as far as I understand, the Riverfolk company's cards in hand are always open to the whole table. And everyone can look at them. And so at the beginning of their turn, when they buy our services, they can look at my cards and they can say, well, your hands cards cost 2, and then that's what the cats did before. They paid 2 cats in order to take a card from our hand, right? And you can adjust that based on what cards you have in hand. If you have some really juicy ones, you go higher in price, or if you just want something and you want to get rid of cards, you put 1. Normally 2, I think, would be better, so you at least make some actual money. Because throwing a new card also costs 1, right? So that might still be fine because you commit it and then you get it back. I think we will lower it for now. Then riverboats. That's whenever if a faction buys the riverboats at the start of their turn, giving us 1 warrior, then they can move along rivers for that entire turn as they please. And that's what riverboats does. And then these mercenaries. The mercenaries I don't quite grasp yet. We saw some of it, in fact. Basically, they can use our warriors in battle. But exactly the mechanics of this one I need to study a little bit further. But we will go ahead here, set the service. Let's try this, just for fun. I think the Mercenaries is something you would lower the price of once you have a few warriors on the board. Right now I would be scared that I lose my warriors. I would rather not. Right? So, yeah. They're attacking the cats. Converting a cat. Favor of the mice. Oh, they're just building. Okay. Score dividends because we didn't spend our funds. Looks like we didn't receive any payments this round. No matter. You move 2 warriors from your supply to payments as a consolidation price. What? That seems crazy. Really? Protectionism. If payments box is empty, place 2 warriors in it. Ah, but that only happened because we left money in the funds. If we had committed any, they would have been moved over and then we would have gotten nothing. But because we didn't spend them or commit them, they got left in the funds, and then we can try to aim to have an empty payments box next turn. Very, very interesting again. Us Riverfolk are innovative crafters. Instead of resolving the effect of a crafted card, we can add a warrior to our payments. Use the export button to craft for this reward. Okay, I'm not sure I get it. Is it just any card? So yeah, we spend any card. We commit a fund. Still, okay, sure. And then that gives us a new payment. So we committed one to gain one and we spend a card obviously. But that's important to boost our economy. Very interesting again. Establish another trade post and score 15 points to prove us Riverfolk are more than mere merchants. Here seems like a good spot. Because we already had a warrior in there. Action. Alright, so now we're in free play. Let's see if I understand all this stuff. Riverfolk Company for sale. You have a public hand, indeed. Yep. Swimmers. You treat rivers as paths and may move along rivers regardless of ruler. And we can see our payment fund and commitments in here. A little bit easier to see. Services, prices are set here or visible here. And then what is this here? Trade posts. Huh. Let me read this out to you. Trade posts. Building a trade post scores you 2 victory points and allow enemies in the same clearance of Persian additional service. You cannot score dividends without at least 1 trade post on the map. Very important apparently. When a trade post is removed, lose half of your funds, rounded up. So we want to protect them. Trade posts removed from the map do not go back in the supply. Oh, damn. Alright. So I would say as a Riverfolk player, you really, really gotta protect these trade posts. Damn. Yeah, really interesting. Each clearing can only have 1 trade post. I wonder what this used means. Oh, because... no. It's still here. We have 2. So why isn't this one used? It's been used this turn to do something. Maybe, that's the thing. Interesting. Okay. Protectionism. If payment box is empty, add place 2 warriors in it. Yep. And then score dividends. You do not score payment points for warriors in the payments or committed box. Yeah. Gather funds. Move all warriors on your faction box to the funds box. Commit and spend funds to take actions. Discard down to 5 cards. Set service costs. Okay. What if I hover here? Aha. During daylight and evening of this turn, the buyer who buys the mercenaries treat Riverfolk warriors as their own for rule and for battle against factions other than the Riverfolk. The buyer must split hits taken evenly between their pieces and Riverfolk warriors, with the buyer taking odd hits. They treat Riverfolk warriors as their own only for rule and battle. So if I had... That's really interesting. Because that means that they can buy the mercenaries from me. Then they could move my stack of mercenaries or warriors from here out, I think, and then move in and attack my trade post, I think. I'm not sure. Anyway, this one says, Riverfolk trade post contributes the suit of this clearing towards crafting. Enemies in this clearing may purchase an additional service. You cannot score dividends without at least one trade post on the map. When a trade post is removed, lose half. Yeah, we've seen all of this. Each clearing can only have one trade post. I wonder if you could build trade posts away from the river. I would kind of like to buy a warrior for this spot here. Even though it uses funds permanently, then I want to destroy this workshop. Because that gives us points. So why wouldn't we? Then do we have more actions available? Yes, we do. So I might want to export. But we can't. Why can I not do the export? Commit funds using trade post to craft. Instead of gaining the effect of the card, discard it and pay a warrior to your payments box. Why can't I do that right now? Because... Huh. We have a fund available. We can draw, we can move, we can battle. Let's draw. Interesting. We've got some good cards here, so let's up the price a little bit. We could lower the price of the using the boats a little bit, I think, because that's not a huge benefit. Oh, they did buy a card for 2. Yeah, I mean, these are bird cards, so they are worth a whole lot for the cats, for example, taking an extra action. And again, at no real cost other than giving me stuff. They don't technically really lose anything. As long as I give them the cats back at some point, they don't care. So when you have bird cards, and they see the lizards did the same. So the 2 bird cards got bought by the AI, mind you, for 2 per. That is very interesting. Man, the lizard seems so strong. I gotta say. Alright, now we have 8 funds. We only need to get to 15. If I spend nothing, we would get, what, 4? And we could just do that 2 turns in a row. If I really wanted. But we also get points for establishing a trade post. Ah, but if we lose it, the trade post, then bad. And why can we not build it here, of all places? I don't know. Because it has to be built where they have pieces, right? If we wanted to build up here, we would need 2 lizard folk. And we have enough to build in any of the 2 factions, but we cannot build it where they don't have units, because, yeah, well, that just doesn't work. That is, again, very interesting. But you also can spread yourself too thin, I think. Draw, commit a fund. Because if you can't protect them and then you lose half your funds, that's terrible. I'm gonna not spend any. I will lower the cost of the riverboats. Let's go 2, because then I get to move my own warriors from the reserve to the funds if they don't buy anything. And if they buy, well, then we've gotten the same. So here's another important point. Since we score points at the beginning of our turn for what's in the funds, if they take out one of my trade posts right now, halving my funds, then they also halve the amount of points that I would get next turn. So you have that window of opportunity. If you see that the Riverfolk is sitting with a lot of funds trying to score points, you can go in and tear down a trade post that turn. Or you can try. Oh my god. Oh, did they do Favor of the Mice or something like that? Or, yeah, Favor of the Mice. Choose funds to loot from your removed trade post. Damn. Yeah. That's, pretty intense. That's not what I wanted to click. It's not here. We need to look here. Yeah, Favor of the Mice was played. So in our turn, we scored 2 points for having some cards or some funds still in the supply. Then we can build a trade post here, scoring 2 points, and then we can build a trade post here, scoring 2 points, going above 15, which was required for this tutorial. Alright, I think we learned how to play the Riverfolk. They are definitely complex and tricky to play. Again, completely unique from anything else we've seen in this game. And yeah, I'm very excited to learn how they play in a 4-player game. I'm still rooting for the rooting for the developers to add 6-player compatibility. It may be tricky to do. I get it. I really think that it would add a lot, and I see how it can be problematic, but you could just make the buttons here a little bit thinner. And I'm worried that they won't, but I can't say for sure either way. So anyway, I hope you guys love this tutorial as much as I did. I'm excited to start playing, and I hope you are too. See you all around, folks, with some gameplay coming out soon. And this is Keejchen signing off. Bye bye.